Hello everybody, I'm the DEFININING Collector, and welcome to another video on the One Piece card game. Today we're looking at the last two colors for OP-04, both black and yellow. Get a lot of cards to look through, let's hop right in. Alright, first off we have Sakazuki here. This is a reprint card from OP-02 with new art that they're doing for this set. I will read off the card again, just in case you forgot what it did. It's a black card that costs a 6, power of 7,000. Its effect reads, on play, you may trash one card from your hand, KO up to one of your opponent's characters at a cost of 5 or less. That is very nice. This is a card I'm pretty sure is used a bit in black decks. Not entirely sure. Not to cut up with the meta for OP-02. As I took a little break there because I burnt myself out with a lot of One Piece stuff right away. But yeah, seems like a good card. On to the next one. Next up we have Isho here, which is a card we went over last video, but I will go over it again. It is a green and black leader with with no cost because it's a leader. 5,000 power, 4 life. This effect reads, Dawn times 1, so you have one Dawn card equipped. Your turn, give all your opponent's characters -1 cost. At the end of your turn, you may rest one Dawn card, set up to one of your characters with a cost of 5 or less as active. Really nice. I definitely like this leader. Here's the parallel for it. Next up, we have another leader we looked over in one of the past videos. Is Rebecca. Is a blue and black leader with power of 5,000, life of 5. It says this leader cannot attack. Activate main once per turn. You may rest one Dawn card. If you have 6 or less cards in your hand, look at 2 cards on top of your deck, reveal up to one Dressrosa type card, and add it to your hand, then trash rest. I really like this card. I think it having a search ability just built in like that is really helpful and really, really powerful. And here's the parallel for it. Next up, we have Ideo, a black card that costs 2, power of 2,000, counter of 1,000. His effect is just a blocker card. Really nice, and I think this will be used. Next up, we have Oimo and Kashi, a black card with a cost of 6, power of 8,000, counter of 1,000. No effect. Pretty decent, just a heavy hitter you'd like to put on your board. Next up, we have Orlumbus, a black card with a cost of 4, power of 5,000, counter of 1,000. Its effect reads, if activate main, once returned, you may give up to one of your opponent's characters -4 cost during this turn, and trash 2 cards from the top of your deck, then you KO of one of your Dressrosa type characters. Pretty nice. I like this card. I think it's going to be pretty powerful. Next up, we have Gats, a black card with a cost of 1, power of 1,000, counter of 2,000. On play, up to one of your Dressrosa type characters can also attack active characters during this turn. I think this character is pretty decent for, like, any of your powerful attackers. This will be really nice because you're not just restricted to their rested characters. Really, really powerful. Next up, we have Cavendish, a black card that costs a 5, power of 6,000. His effect reads, Dawn times 1, we have one Dawn card equipped. This character can also attack active characters. When attacking, you may rest your leader, KO up to one of your opponent's characters at a cost of 1 or less, then trash 2 cards in the top of your deck. I am seeing a small pattern here so far with the last 2 cards we looked at, with trashing cards on top of your deck, which I think is a bit weird, but I'm not going to complain too much. Because I'm not a huge fan of the black color anyway, but I also haven't looked into like the meta for it, so I don't understand how to play around or play with that deck just right now. Yeah, pretty decent card. I like the attacking active characters. I like the KOing one of your characters, enemy characters cost of 1 or less, because this deck focuses on lowering the cost of your opponent's characters on the field. I think that's really nice. Next up, we have Kyros, with a black card that costs a 3, power of 5,000. If this character would be KO'd, you may rest your leader or one Kurita Coliseum instead. On play, if your leader is Rebecca, KO to one of your opponent's characters with a cost of 1 or less, then trash 1 card at the top of your deck. This is really nice. I like the reborn effect it has with resting your leader or the Coliseum. Really, really nice. Next up, we have the parallel for Kyros. Then we have Sabo here, a black card that costs a 5, power of 6,000, counter of 1,000. He's a blocker. On play, none of your characters can be KO'd by effects until the start of your next turn. Then draw 2 cards and trash 2 from your hand. Really nice. I like the protection from KO. I think this card's really powerful. Next up, we have the parallel, and then the manga parallel, which looks really, really good. I'd love to pull this card. Next up, we have Stussy, a black card that costs 2, power of 3,000. On play, look at 3 cards on top of your deck and play up to 1 character card with a type including CP, other than Stussy, at a cost of 2 or less. Then trash the rest of the cards. Pretty decent. I remember there is some CP cards in OP-03, I believe, mainly because they're focused on like Rob Lucci and stuff. So this is just support for that. I think this card will be pretty useful. Next up, we have Suleiman, A black card that costs a 3 power 4000, kind of 1000. On play when attacking, if your leader has the Dressrosa type, give up to one of your opponent's characters -2 cost during this turn, then trash one at the top of your deck. Pretty decent. I like the on play and when it's attacking, so it's not just a do the effect once and then it's basically just a setting guy on your field. Pretty decent, and I like the -2 cost effect. Next up, we have Qin Zhao, a black card that costs a 5 power of 6000, counter of 1000. This effect reads Don times 1. We have 1 Don card equipped. When this character battles and KOs your opponent's character, draw 2 cards and trash it from your hand. Pretty useful, just a good attacker with a decent effect. Next up, we have Trafalgar Law, a black card that costs a 5 power of 7000 and counter of 1000. No effect, just another decent attacker. Then we have Hayudin, a black card that costs of 6 power of 7000, counter of 1000. Activate main, you may rest one of your leaders, or you may rest your one leader. Give up to one of your opponent's characters -4 cost during this turn. Pretty nice. Next up we have Bartolomeo, a black card that costs of 3, power of 3000, counter of 2000. He is just a blocker. I don't know, I think this might be overshadowed by other blockers, but I'm not too up to date on all the blockers. I just feel like there might be a black one with a cost of 2, power of 3000 that might just be a bit better, but I am not entirely sure. Next up we have Monkey D. Luffy. Kind of interesting. This isn't in his. That doesn't include Gear 4th in his name, but they don't really focus on names in this, so it's probably just for simplicity's sake. This is a black card with a cost of 7, power of 7000. This character can also attack active characters. Activate main once per turn. You may return 7 cards from your trash to the bottom of your deck in any order. Set this character as active. Then this character will not become active until your next refresh phase. So you can't just loop the effect over and over again. They did add a way to make this double once per turn. So really nice. I think this card's really powerful. And on the next one, which is his parallel. I think this parallel art looks really good. I hope I do pull at least one Gear 4 Luffy when I open up my box of this later this year in September. I'm really excited for it. Next up, we have Leo, a black card that cost of 1, power of 2000, counter of 1000. Its effect reads, on play, you may rest your one leader. If your leader has the Dressrosa type, KO up to one of your opponent's characters with a cost of 1 or less, then trash 2 cards from the top of your deck. So I am realizing now that all this is really just playing into the Luffy card, and maybe there'll be another card of this color that relies off of cards in your trash. Next up, we have Rebecca, black card that costs of 1, power of 2000, counter of 1000. On play, look at the 3 cards at the top of your deck. Reveal up to 1 Dressrosa type card other than Rebecca and add it to your hand, then trash the rest. Kind of interesting how this isn't look at top 5, but I guess with the trashing effect, you don't want to be milling out yourself too much because you will just lose. But pretty decent card. Next up, we have Gum Gum King Kong Gun, a black event card that costs of 3. Its effect reads, main, up to one of your Dressrosa type characters gains plus 6000 power during this turn. Then if you have 15 or more cards in your trash, that card gains double attack during this turn. That means it does 2 damage. A trigger of draw 3 cards, then trash 2 from your hand. I do like these cards so far. I think the card is very powerful, especially with how much you're going to be trashing with these new cards. But I do fear that you'd be decking yourself really fast. Next up, we have Truno Bastardo, an event card with a cost of 4 and the effect of main. Choose up to one of your opponent's characters with a cost of 4 or less and KO it. If you have 15 or more cards in your trash, choose up to one of your opponent's characters at a cost of 6 or less instead of a character of 4 or less. A trigger of you may rest your leader, KO up to one of your opponent's characters at the cost of 5 or less. Really nice card. Next up, we have Barrier, a black card with a cost of 1. It's an event card. It reads counter. Up to one of your leader or character cards gains plus 2000 power during this battle. Then if you have 15,000, that'd be physically impossible. 15 or more cards in your trash, that card gains an additional plus 2000 power during this battle. A trigger of draw 2, trash 1. Really nice. I think this is the last card we'll be looking at for black. Corrida Coliseum, a black stage card with a cost of 1. If your leader has the Dressrosa type, your Dressrosa type characters can attack characters on the turn on which they are played. Really nice. So yes, I think these this stage is going to be extremely powerful, giving everything rush is going to be insane. The fact it works in the Kyros, I think this deck is going to be a real contender for the meta top. Yep. So now we're moving on to yellow, and that'll be all the cards from OP-04. Alright, first off we have a leader we looked at last episode. not episode, last video, I guess. Queen, a blue and yellow leader with a power of 5,000, life of 4. This effect reads Don times 1. We have 1 Don card equipped. When attacking, if you have a total of 4 or less cards in your life area in hand, draw 1 card. If you have a character with a cost of 8 or more, you may add up to 1 card on the top of your life from the top of your life cards instead of drawing 1 card. Really nice. There's the parallel for it. Next up, we have Crocodile, another leader we looked at previously. A leader that is purple and yellow, power 5,000, life of 4. On your opponent's turn, once per turn, when a Don card on your field is returned to your Don deck by your effect, add up to 1 Don card from your Don deck and set it as active. Really, really nice. Here's the parallel for Crocodile. First up, we have Otama, a yellow card that costs of 1, power of 0, count of 1,000. Her effect reads, on play, add up to 1 of your opponent's animal or smile type characters at the cost of 3 or less to the top of your opponent's life cards face up. I think this card is not going to be played because I don't think a side deck exists, as far as I'm aware. I am definitely wrong by this time. I think I might have heard it worded somewhere. I'm just not entirely familiar if it is existent or not. But this entirely relies on what your opponent is playing, like to a very specific degree that I am uncomfortable with. So I think this card won't be played very much, though the art on it is very sweet. Next up, we have Toko, a yellow card that cost of 2, power of 0, counter of 1,000. On play, you may trash 2 Land of Wano type cards from your hand. If you have 1 or less life cards, add 1 card from the top of your deck to the top of your life cards. Really nice. Next up, we have Olin, a yellow card that costs of 7, power of 7,000. Also treat this card's name as Charlotte Lillian according to the rules. That means that it's basically no effect. And a trigger of, if you have 1 or less life cards, play this card. Just another heavy hitter. The trigger is pretty nice, but nothing else too special outside of that. Next up, we have Capone Gang Beji, a yellow card that costs a 3, power of 3,000, counter of 2,000. No effect. A trigger of up to 1 of your opponent's leader or character cards cannot attack during this turn. Next up, we have the parallel for Beige. Now we have Mother Carmel, a yellow card that costs of 2, power of 1,000, a counter of 1,000. On your turn, on play, draw 1 card. Trigger, play this card, then kick up to 1 of your opponent's characters at the cost of 2 or less. Really, really nice. Next up, we have Kinemon, a yellow card at the cost of 6, power of 6,000. Activate main once per turn. You rest 1 Don card. You may add 1 card on the top or bottom of your life cards to your hand. Set this character as active. Next up, we have Kozuki Hiyori, a yellow card at the cost of 2, power of 0, counter of 2,000. On play, up to 1 of your Land of Wano type leader or character cards gains plus 1,000 power during this turn. On trigger, play this card. Really nice. Next up, we have Sanji, a yellow card that costs 4, power 5,000, counter of 1,000, and it's just a blocker, a trigger of you may trash 1 card from your hand, play this card. Really nice. I like the playing from your hand with a trigger of a blocker card. That is really powerful. And here's the parallel of it, which looks amazing. Next up, we have Charlotte Amand, a yellow card that costs 3, power 3,000, counter of 2,000. Activate main once per turn. You may trash 1 card with a trigger from your hand. Rest up to 1 of your opponent's character's cost of 2 or less. Now you have Charlotte Bavaroy? I don't know. Bava something. Cost of 3, power 4,000, counter of 1,000. Don times 1 if you have 1 Don card equipped. If you have less life cards than your opponent, this card gains plus 1,000 power. Trigger, you may trash 1 card from your hand to play this card. Pretty decent. Next up, we have Charlotte Paraspero, cost of 6, power of 8,000, counter of 1,000. No effect. Next up, we have Charlotte Moscato, a yellow card that costs 3, power 4,000, counter of 1,000. Don 1, we have 1 Don card equipped. This card gains Banish, which means when it deals damage, the target card is trashed without activating its trigger. And its trigger is, you may trash 1 card from your hand, play this card. Pretty okay. Next up, we have Toneyasu, a yellow card that costs 2, power of 2,000, counter of 1,000. Activate main, you may trash this character up to 1 of your Land of Wano type leader or characters, gains plus 2,000 power during this turn. Really nice. Next up, we have Pound, a yellow card that costs 3, power for 3,000, counter of 1,000. A blocker. On KO, add up to 1 of your opponent's characters with a cost of 3 or less to the top of your bottom of your opponent's life cards face up. Pretty nice. Next up, we have Hera, a yellow card that costs 5, power of 3,000, counter of 1,000. Activate main, you may trash 1 of your homies type character cards other than this character, and rest this character. Set up to 1 of your Charlotte Lillian characters as active. Trigger, play this card. Next up, we have Yamato, a yellow card with a cost of 9, power of 9,000. On play, KO up to one of your opponent's characters with a cost equal to or less than the total of your and your opponent's life cards. Then, if you have one or less life cards, add up to one card from the top of your deck to your top of your life cards. Here's the parallel for it. This card is really nice. I love the artwork on this. Next up, we have Rabian, a yellow card that costs a 2, power of 3,000, count of 1,000, and a trigger of play this card. I don't see this being played very much. Next up, we have Randolph, a yellow card that costs a 5, power of 7,000, count of 1,000, no effect. Same thing as the last one. I don't think it'll be played too much. It's just a attacker. Next up, we have Gun Modoki, a yellow card that costs of 1, an event card. Main, you may add one card from the top of your bottom of your life cards to your hand. Up to one of your Lando Wano type characters gains double attack during the turn. Trigger, up to one of your leader or character cards gains plus 1,000 power during this turn. Really nice. Next up, we have Diablo Jambe Jue Shot. 3 cost, event card, counter. Up to one of your leader or character cards gains plus 6,000 power during this battle. Then, if you and your opponent have a total of 4 or less life cards, KO up to one of your opponent's characters at a cost of 2 or less. Trigger, draw 1 card. Next up, we have Heavenly Fire, a yellow card with a cost of 1. Main, add up to one of your opponent's characters with a cost of 4 or less to the top or bottom of your opponent's life cards, face up. Trigger, you may add 1 card from the top or bottom of your life cards to your hand. Add up to 1 card from your hand to the top of your life cards. Really nice. And that is all we have for today. Thank you very much for watching. I hope you enjoyed me going through OP-04, these last 3 videos. I have to try to think up what I'm going to do for the next few videos now that I'm done looking through all these cards. I really had fun. If you enjoyed this video, make sure to subscribe and check out other videos I have. Make sure to like it as well. Share it with friends. Thanks for watching, and have a great day.